Next question that came up. Best way to balance personal reinvention and career reinvention at the same time. So just a couple quick things here. One is set clear outcomes and objectives. You have to be sure that you know exactly what it is that you want from personal reinvention and what you want from a career reinvention. The clarity is key, because without clarity, it gets really stressful if you don't have that crystal clear clarity of your objectives, of your goals. It will get difficult to balance. So start there. Just make sure that there are two very clear goals you are pursuing at the same time and know what they are. So that way, you know when you've hit the target. The second thing here that's really important is find all the 2-for-1 opportunities in these two things. Where can you find activities or actions that if you do it for one, it actually benefits the other or can feed the other one, or vice versa? How can you find a way to get the work you do in one to help the other? This way you can be more strategic about your attempts, and the work you put in is even more productive because it's serving two goals at the same time. It's not always very clear where the 2-for-1 opportunity is, but in life, I have found out there are so many 2-for-1 opportunities if we take the time to really consider and think about it. Last thing I'll say on this, if the two reinventions are significant and they're massive, incredibly important ones, then I would consider strongly, and I say this because I have done it this way as well, taking one on at a time. Usually with bigger reinventions, in the end, you're probably going to spend the same amount of time, whether you try to do them together or separately. The only difference is the quality of your output will be significantly better if you separate them. It's just the way our brains work. When we focus and go deep on one thing, we tend to conquer that at a much higher level because we're putting all of our mind's resources, all of our attention, all of our patience, all of our love into that thing, and we can really create outstanding outcomes. When we try to split that across two things at once, we end up getting kind of just half the quality, half the effort. We just cannot switch and pivot as quickly and easily as we all like to think we can. Even though we celebrate multitasking, it doesn't mean that we're actually good at multitasking. So we're not wired for multitasking. We're wired for focus. And the more we focus, the better we're going to do on different things. So what I recommend is if they're both complicated and they're both big and they're both really important to you, separate them, tackle them one at a time, figure out which ones make sense depending on your life, like what makes sense to focus on now and what makes sense to focus on later. Because what I can promise you is that future you will be very happy that you chose to do it this way, because future you will see how much you actually enjoyed the effort, the challenge, the work that went into making that happen. So what's it called? Think about if this is something that you can do one at a time.